once you find an agent you're comfortable with, the first process would be to get what we call pre-qualified. Pre-qualified is where you go in and you make application with a mortgage company. Now, there's a reason for this. Now, some people don't feel like they need to do this right offhand. They want to run out and start looking at properties. Here's the problem you run into, though. You come to me and you start telling me about a property you want to purchase and in a certain part of town. Now, as your agent, I start looking at that area, and let's just say properties are selling in that area, what you're looking for say $250,000. Okay? Well, then I go out and I show you the property. I show you several properties, and then you decide you want to put an offer in on one. And we're going to come back to all that, but you put the offer in, we go through the whole process of negotiating and everything, and then you go to the mortgage company. And the mortgage company says, well, Larry, you only qualify for $200,000. Not only did I waste my time, I wasted your time, the seller's time, the listing agent, the seller's agent. I wasted everybody's time. Not only that, you were very disappointed. So as a good agent at that point, I would take you back out and start showing you properties around $200,000, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. But being, the nature of people, you would be, every time you looked at that $200,000 house, you would be comparing it to the $250,000 house you couldn't have. So you're disappointed. And that $50,000 could be a huge difference in what properties look like. You may even have to go to another area. And you had your heart set on that particular subdivision or area of town. Mm-hmm. And you can't afford that area. Why don't we just save you the whole heartache of all that? Go ahead and go to the mortgage company. It's a very simple process. They just need a little bit of information from you, like how much money you make, kind of debts you have, and they'll run your credit report. Based on that, the mortgage company will come back to you and me and say, look, Larry's qualified for $200,000. And now I know what to go show you, don't I? And where to show it to you based on what you can afford.
Exactly. Now let's say you're a client and you're wanting to buy a house and you haven't done your credit check yet at a mortgage company, and you come to an agent, let's say a buyer's agent, and you say, look, I want to buy this house, and I've seen it over here and all this, but as a buyer's agent, you say, well, have you had your credit check yet? And they say, well, no, I didn't even think about that. Do you, as a buyer's agent, tell the person to go on their own, or can you, as the agent, help them with that process?
I can help them with that process. I'm not a mortgage company. I'm not a loan officer. Mm-hmm. I do know loan officers. Mm-hmm. I've got several of them that I work with. Mm-hmm. And I know they're going to do you a good job. Of course, you've come to me. Hopefully you have some confidence in me now. Mm-hmm. Now, you're welcome. And not only welcome, legally, you can pick any mortgage company you want to. I cannot require, or can anybody require, to use a particular mortgage company. Mm-hmm. Okay? But a lot of times buyers come to me, and again, they hired me to help them with the whole transaction. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to help them get the loan, but I'm going to direct them to possibly a loan officer or two, somebody they're going to be comfortable with that's going to help them do the whole loan process. So to answer your question, I guess, it is your right to use whoever you want. But a lot of buyers come to me not knowing where to get a mortgage. They don't even know the process of how to get started. Mm-hmm. Okay? So yes, they will ask me for my advice. Yes, I will say, I've got a couple of loan officers here I've used in the past that do you a good job. And I can help you set up an appointment with them. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole process of it, as far as getting the loan. Mm-hmm. So once we do that, then we go out and look for property. Okay. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you, though, it is your choice. You can use anybody you want, and we need to stress that point. Exactly. Okay? Because you don't want to go out there and have somebody force you into their loan officer. Mm-hmm. Okay, and not saying that they're not doing a good job, not saying that what they're doing is wrong, right? Mm-hmm. But you need to shop around for your mortgage as much as you do the house. Very important.
And that's what a lot of people forget to do.
They don't, they don't realize sometimes that is a very. You go to one mortgage company, let's say they're charging you a certain percentage rate, and another one is charging you another percentage rate. Maybe it's a little higher, a little lower. But it's not all about percentage rates. Kind of like we was talking about in the last episode about the whole process of purchasing a home. Too many people dwell on the interest rate. One place is charging you, let's say 6. Another place is charging you 6 1/4. Well, most people, without even thinking, go for the lower rate. Isn't that true?
That's right. They're just looking at that.
They're looking at that. The problem with that, though, in order to get that 6% rate, you may have to pay some monies up front at the time of closing, additional funds, in order to get that lower rate.
Now, aren't there names for some of these?
Oh, yeah. Discount points, origination fees, document preparation fees, all kinds of fees in there. These all are associated with doing the loan.
Now, we're here to educate our viewers on this subject of real estate. Could you just for a moment, or however long you think it needs to be explained, but you just mentioned some of these things. A discount rate. What is a discount rate?
Point?
Or discount point, yes.
Yeah, well, okay, let me just go back to what we're saying. In order to get that lower interest rate, you usually have to pay more fees. Those fees are usually costs that are due at the time you close on your property.
Okay.
So you would have to bring more money to what we call the closing table, in order to close that transaction. Well, if money's an issue, and sometimes it is with a lot of people, okay, you're going to have to bring more money to the closing table. Well, you might not have that money, so you might be better off in this situation to take the little higher interest rate. And 1/4%. People don't understand. May only raise your payment maybe $1, maybe $2 per thousand. So on a $200,000 house, it may raise your payment $40 a month, but you didn't have to bring $4,000 to the closing table in order to get that.
Not going into all the details of the discount points and everything else, but sometimes when you go for that higher interest rate, it comes down to what you're saying. You're only going to pay maybe $40 more a month on a mortgage payment.
Correct.
Than having to, at the closing, to buy the house, bring $4,000
Correct.
to be able to close the deal.
And you have to weigh out your options here. I think the biggest issue that people have when it comes to loans, national average out there, is the people only have that particular loan for maybe 3 to 5, maybe 6 years. So let's just think about that. Say 5 years, that's what, 60 monthly payments? 60 monthly payments at $40 more a month. What is that, $2,400? $2,400 versus the other guy over here that got the 6% rate and paid $4,000 up front to get it. Now, who's ahead of the game?
The guy that just saved $1,600.
That's right. You see? The problem I think most people have is they go in and I'm trying to think the best way to say, they're not honest with themselves. They think they're going to buy this house and they're going to be that 1% that actually keep that one particular house, pay it off for 30 years. Most people are moving every 3 to 5 years. And when you do that, you're selling that house, buying a new one. So you're starting all over again, aren't you?
Exactly.
Okay. Not only that, even if you keep the house, what happens is rates change, and you've probably seen this on TV. Everybody's advertising how refinance now, Well, that's what everybody does. Right. So even if you keep the property, what are the chances of you keeping that loan? There's a good chance you're going to refinance it. So again, this guy paid $4,000. This guy refinancing, the guy that paid $4,000, 3 years later is refinancing, and possibly paying additional money again to get a better interest rate, and then he keeps that one for 3 years, sells the property. Well, this guy that bought his over here is thousands of dollars ahead, isn't he?